Welcome, welcome. I'm Dee, and this is a Single Mama Guided Life where I try to navigate through finances, motherhood, being single, and everything in between. And I bring you guys along for the journey to hold me accountable. This is my monthly debt update. As stated before, is that I did separate this video because it's going to be a little bit more in depth because I am incorporating challenges and so on and so forth. So let's talk about the monthly debt update. This sheet I did purchase from Jennifer Bleacher from Life in Envelopes here on YouTube. You can check out her Etsy shop. Additionally, there is a coupon code for her shop on Etsy because I'm part of our PR Friends program. So definitely go ahead and check that out. So let's talk about a couple of things here. We were able to successfully pay off 1, 2, 3, 4 debts in 2020, and even though I pay them off, I still want to list them here so we have an idea where we're sitting at. So the medical bill was for my son. I do have insurance on him, and his dad's supposed to keep additional insurance on him so there won't be any bills, but that's not happening. So there are times where bills do trickle in, and because of that, I'm responsible for it. So there was a medical bill that he went to the doctor twice in December 2019. So there were bills that was due in January, and I thought I can stretch them out, but I wasn't. Well, I did stretch them out until like about March or so. The next thing was taxes, and this is for my state. Now, because I'm in bankruptcy, they can't contact me. So even though I was filing taxes, I wasn't getting notified that I owed, though like I knew it. So I eventually called and they explained to me how the process goes. They told me my principal amount, my interest, and the penalty. But if I paid off the principal by the end of my bankruptcy discharge, everything like the penalty and the interest will be forgiven. So that's why I focused on paying that off last year. The next thing was my 401k loan. It's been lingering around, I believe, since 2016. I always choose the least amount for this particular plan. So I was only like throwing like $15 or so each paycheck. So that was not bringing it down as much. And I decided I needed to work on getting rid of that. So I focused that on in September. Then the next thing was the medical loan. And it's come from a consolidation of different medical bills I received in 2018. And so when I consolidated, I say around April 2019 is when I started paying on it, and it was interest free. When I made my first payment that was not interest free, there was no way to go back. So I started incurring interest. And the interest is based on the market. So at the time the market was looking good, then the pandemic hit, and then 2020, and the interest actually went down and kind of like leveled out for all of last year. So I said I need to go ahead and take advantage of paying this off so I won't have to look into, actually paying more in interest than I already have based on the fact that I, fell off the wagon with that. So the next thing that I'm working on for 2021 is another 401k loan. The starting balance is $1,437.74. Before we finish on, the reason why it's completed is because I had already filmed this, but I was out of frame. So I'm just going to talk through, and I hope you're okay with that at this current time, that I'm not crunching numbers and so on and so forth. But I think the talk throughs makes it a lot easier for me when it comes to explaining things, because as I'm talking in writing, sometimes I get jumbled up. So again, what I was saying is that the starting balance for this is $1,437.74. My plan is to try to pay this off by April 30th, 2021, because I don't want to have that much debt going in after my discharge. So I kind of level itself out. Through my payroll deductions, it was $54.12. That was 3 equal payments. There is interest on this particular loan, but it's like, if you're not familiar with a 401k loan, is you are borrowing money from yourself. So you're going to earn interest, and all that goes back to your 401k. The issue is that it's still interest, and so that is deducted from the actual amount that you pay. So you end up actually paying less towards the principal amount. So for instance, since the last time I checked in, I've only paid $43.45. So left me with a balance of $1,394.29. The next thing we have is loan 2 with a balance of $1,483.97. The payment was $52.23, and that was 3 equal payments. This was, again, 6% interest. And what I actually paid towards this debt was $41.20. So that left me with $1,442.77. So these are the 2 debts I'm working on paying by April 30th, as well as I'm trying to save. Okay. So the next thing we have is my car loan, which is $11,973.83 for my last check-in. I paid $280.14 monthly. I have a current interest rate of 14.74%. I am on a reduced rate program where I think it's like 1/4 to 1/2% every 3 months until like it reached 14%, and then the levels off. Now, I was paying every 28 days, which towards the end of the year had me 1 month ahead. And additionally, now I was paying a little bit more to principal than interest. But towards the end of the year, I paid in the beginning of November for my December car note. And then the next time I paid my January car note was the end of December. And that between the first payment in November and the next payment in December, it was more than 28 days. So actually more went towards interest because I earned more, and actually less went towards debt. So I need to work on that because I don't want to put my hard work. I feel like my hard work that I did last year has disappeared. Like it was, yeah. So it's kind of sad. So $73.50 towards the debt. That left me with $11,933. I started, additionally, I have student loans here. Now, because I'm in bankruptcy, they're on hold. So I don't have physical access to them other than calling and asking them. And it just makes no sense for me to each time do this call and ask them where I'm sitting at. I rather, because I'm not paying on them. So when everything's discharged, you'll start seeing a number. The reason I wanted to include it on a sheet, even though it's blank, is because I want to be transparent. And it looked as if I only had 3 debts left, and where that's not true. So when we get to this bridge, we'll go ahead and discuss it. But right now, the total debt that I'm starting with in 2021 is $14,895.54 that I can account for. The payments for, since my last update, was $386.49. The amount that actually went to the debt was $158.15. So I left him with an ending balance of $14,737.39. Because it's the beginning of the year, I'm going to start tracking it starting from the beginning of the year with this number and then working my way down so I can have something accurate. When I started doing this monthly debt update, I did start like in August or September. I'm always, but I haven't paid off debt since then, but I've been tracking it in a way that I can keep up with it. So yes, so we're going to work on that. And of course, this number will change when these student loans come into play. I know based on looking back that my numbers, I've started with over $20,000 worth of debt. Now, initially I was including my credit cards because they were considered debt, but they're not incurring any type of interest because I am either in a 0% interest payment plan and or I am using them as a way to pay for my monthly bills, and I have that money earmarked for those particular bills. So it's not like I'm just using them and carrying a balance from month to month of the same amount of it. So I decided to move them off the sheet, which I think someone did have issue with that. And I do appreciate your suggestions and opinions or anything like that. But when I look at my personal finance and how I'm using things, it just makes no sense because it fluctuates this number. So I could 1 month have 20,000 and the next month I have 21,000 and next month it can go up. But and this can go constantly be low, staying low because I'm not doing anything for it. I hope that makes any sense. So that's why I pulled them off, and I'm not going to include my credit cards when I talk about my credit cards, it's when I'm doing my income breakdown, because that's when I'm paying them. So with that additionally being said, I know I started with over $20,000 worth of debt. My ending balance based on the current number and the debt total I paid off has been over $5,600. Now, again, this is starting from August, September. I know I paid off a lot more of that. Additionally, what I realized is that I wasn't including something I've been talking about since the induction of this channel was my bankruptcy. That is debt I am paying on. So I should have been including that number in the sheet so we can see what's going on. The reason why I haven't been doing it is because it's kind of like a weird situation, is that because I pay a trustee and he divvies the money out, it's no rhyme or reason behind it. One month he could be paying this person a certain amount, and then the next month that amount could be changed. So it's kind of like, oh my goodness, do I want to keep logging in, figuring out what he did, or do I just want to include that in my income breakdown and just go from there? And so that's why I decided in the end not to include it in here, but discuss it in the future, how much was included in my bankruptcy, what was included in my bankruptcy, and what I actually paid off. So let's go ahead and talk about something else I decided to do with helping me, again, with a visual with paying off debt. I decided to include these debt-free charts from debtfreecharts.com, and this is Debt Freeland. And because I'm focusing on my 401k loan 1 and 2, or SBL 3 and SBL 2, I want to put them in the forefront so I have some kind of visual to show that I'm actually paying and progressing. And so the total debt was actually $1,437.74. Because it is like 100 squares, in order to make this an even number, I'm rounding this up to $1,500, and then we're using each square at $15. So with the 401k loan SBL3, I paid, since my last check-in, $54.12 because I didn't put anything extra to debt, because I did have active debt that came, medical bills that came in, and what I earned in December I put towards those active debts, so I wouldn't carry anything over and have to add anything to my monthly debt update sheet. And so only $54.12 was included, so I did like 2 squares and a smidge. And I did that the same for the second loan as well, is the same method. I still put the amount that I'm starting with, but it's $1,500 in each square, and we at 2 and a smidge at this point. Nothing extra has been sent to this. Now, there has been a lot of developments in my quest to be able to pay off debt and save at the same time. There's been a couple of things in my personal life that has interrupted the flow of things, and so I am kind of off rocker, and I really need to figure out how I'm going to approach a couple of things. So I may come on here on like my off days, so like Tuesdays or Thursdays, and just throw something out there to get assistance with how I should approach the situation, because I need help. And I really don't have too many people to talk to in my personal life that really understand. And some of you have been with me from the beginning and are very detailed. Like, I know, I can tell based on what you're saying, and you're watching from the beginning to the end and getting to know me. And so I'm hoping that when I present this, that we are good to go with that. So this is my monthly debt update. And if you happen on this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to be part of the village. For all my returning subscribers and new subscribers, I do thank you. It's very appreciated. Go ahead and hit that like button, and please share this with your family, your friends, and your coworkers. Peace out.